Hello, my YouTube family. Today we are going Mediterranean for our pantry challenge meal, and I am currently in the process of making homemade hummus. It's easier than you think it is, and I understand that some cannot have hummus and some can. I had mentioned that I am doing some versatility on this homestead starting this new year. Now I can say that when it comes to beans and peas like these, this is chickpeas. I'm actually using an inexpensive 15-ounce can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas for this. They are a carbohydrate that breaks down slowly called a complex. My husband has been able to eat this very moderately, but he can eat this. And we've actually, because he's not fond of the garbanzo beans, I have actually made this with black beans as well. So with this recipe, you can choose which option you like. And I'm not sure how many of you actually like hummus, but I'm going to be making this video since we are on a Mediterranean path for supper tonight. So one thing I will say is these beans come with a coating, or these peas. It's a like a little shell paper coating on them. I started already, and I'm not sure you can see this, but let's see if I can pull some of this out. But they're just like little paper coatings. Now this is totally optional. You can choose to leave them on there if you want. The reason I take them off is because it leaves for a much smoother hummus for me than without the grit of these paper things. So what I'll do is I will take the bean or the pea. There's the bigger side, and then there's a pointed tip on the top. So I will take the bottom part of it, the bigger side, pinch it with my 2 fingers. I'm going to try to do this without shooting my pea across the room, and I'll just push lightly and pull that coating right off. It's just as simple as that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish. I had already started this, so I'm going to remove this on the side, and I'll show you what the next step is. It's as simple as using a food processor, which that's what we will be using today. I'm going to get my station set up, and I will come back with the rest of the ingredients and how to do this. Okay, so what we're going to start with is a 1/4 cup of tahini. Now tahini can be found actually at Walmart for us, it was the peanut butter aisle. So it's actually, what tahini is nothing but pulverized sesame seeds. This is really good, and it's like a thickening agent to your your hummus. So we're using a 1/4 cup of this in our food processor. Now I don't reserve the liquid to my chickpeas. I actually rinse mine off because I choose not to have the extra starches in from the can or whatever. So I usually rinse mine off, and I'll use water. However, if you choose to keep those juices, you will want to reserve at least 2 tablespoons or more, just in case it's too thick, of that reserved juice to help thin out your hummus if it becomes too thick. And it's part of the requirements actually within the recipe. So with me, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of water instead of using the reserved juice. So I'm going to add that with the tahini. One, 2. And I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now this is a classic garlic hummus, so that's what we're going by. So this is going to be 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now I am not going to process this because this machine can be quite loud with you. So I am going to actually process it until it is light in color and whipped really good. And then after I get that done, I'm going to go ahead and continue with the rest of the ingredients with you. Okay, so we are through processing this part here. And what it should look like is kind of like a thick paste at this point that runs off your spoon. If you can see this, the way that's going. So this is the consistency you want at this point. So I am now going to clean out the rims of my food processor and get ready to add my next ingredients. So our next ingredients at this point will be adding our 15-ounce can of chickpeas. You can also choose to use the dried chickpeas and cook them yourself and do this process with as well, and getting a scale and measuring out about 15 ounces of those. The next ingredient after that would be garlic, and it is 1 clove. I'm actually, because I happen to like garlic, I'm adding 2 to mine. So that choice preference is up to you. If you don't like it as much, you can add less or more. So it's just for flavoring, basically. So now at this point, also I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of salt to this, because I'm not going to choose to do that in the end when I'm drizzling the olive oil. And I will at that point show you how to do that process, but it will be loud because this machine is loud. So, but that was a half a teaspoon of salt, and I'm using Himalayan sea salt. So now at this point, I'm just going to pulse this to break these chickpeas up. They are firm, so I'm going to be breaking this up into small pieces. And after I get them in small pieces, I will try to show you what that looks like. And then I will show you what the next process is. Okay, so now we pulsed our chickpeas, salt, and garlic in with the tahini, lemon juice, and water, or reserve juice. And this is what you should have right now. It's just like a thick mound of, well, glob. It doesn't look like hummus just yet, but here is when the hummus part begins. So at this point, I'm going to scrape down my sides again because I want to make sure everything is going to get incorporated in this. And you are going to slowly, and I'll try to describe this because I will be cutting this off about some part of this so it does not overpower you with the sound, on how to do the rest of this process. And this, I'll show you what you'll be looking for in the end of it. Now also at this point, after you add, which will be 1/4 cup of olive oil, as you are drizzling this olive oil while the processor is running, if you find that your hummus is not to the standards or too thick for you, you can therefore at this point, I would go a tablespoon at a time, maybe even less, to get that consistency that you're looking for. Me, if mine is too thick, I will actually be adding water. In the end of it, I will show you how to dress this up. So right now, we're going to go ahead and do this. I will warn you again, this is loud, so I will not be doing this too much on you. I am going to take my 1/4 cup of olive oil. And while this is running, I am actually going to be drizzling my olive oil inside of here. Now I'm going to put this over the top so it doesn't fall everywhere else. So this is all you do. I am at the top of mine and you can't see this too well, but I'm going to see if I can move this up for you so you can see it better without losing my olive oil. I'm going to put that in my bowl. Okay, so let me get you situated so you can see this. Okay, so now we got this. So at this point, I am going to slowly drizzle this olive oil while this is running. And like I said, I'll spare you the long sound of it, but just to show you an example. So you're going to do this the whole entire time until your olive oil is used up. And I will be right back. Okay, and there we have our hummus. Nice, smooth. It's not completely as smooth as you would find from the store, but it's as smooth as I can get mine. It's really not that grainy. I actually love this. Now, I did end up putting a tablespoon and a half more water in my mix. Again, you can choose the reserve, but I will be honest with you, whether it's the reserve juice or whether it's water, it does not affect the flavor to your hummus. So now I'm going to put this into our bowl, dress it up, and I will show you the finished product of what your hummus will look like. Okay, so now that I have, let's see if I can scoot this down some so that you can see. I have my hummus inside of our bowl. So I am going to now make a small well, which is taking my spoon around in a nice formation circle where I'm going to make a well point. And for me, what that's for is I am going to be drizzling olive oil within that well. So now I'm going to take my spoon, clear off the rest of this. I do not waste hummus. I actually love this stuff, so it makes a really good side dish to any Mediterranean also. How I will be using this is I do not use pita chips or nothing. I'm actually going to be using low carb tortillas for mine, but at this point now I am just going to take my olive oil and I'm going to drizzle it right into the well of this hummus. And then on the top of it, now here's some of the ideas you can use for added seasoning. You can use sprinkles, or to your preference of taste, you can use cummin, paprika, you can use chipotle powder. Me, I'm actually going to be using za'atar. It is a nice Mediterranean seasoning, has a bunch of flavors with cumin, coriander, sesame seeds. It's got oregano. It is just an amazing seasoning for this. So I'm actually going to be sprinkling mine with za'atar. And once I am finished with this, I will bring you over to show you the finished product of yours. Way less expensive hummus you can actually do for yourself, adding the flavors that you prefer. If you wanted to turn this classic into a garlic and sun-dried tomatoes, you can do so. You can dress this up to any flavor that you choose. If you like roasted garlic, you can roast your garlic and add to this. If you like peppers, the bell peppers, whatever, you can do any of this. Your base is actually chickpeas, olive oil, and tahini. Again, tahini can be found in the peanut butter aisle at Walmart. It's really not expensive. I think it cost about $5 at the time I got this, and tahini will last a long time on your shelf. It does not, even after opening, does not need to be refrigerated. So this stuff is amazing as a great thickener. You really want to use that when you make this, although there are recipes out there to make this without it. But it just adds that nice hummus, the flavor to your hummus. So I am going to bring you over to this. And after this, I am going to have a short talk with you about a question that was brought up. And it's, to me, I found very useful to ask that question because we have been in this person's situation. So, and it could pertain to many ways. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to set you up for a slight chat. So here is our finished product of our garlic and za'atar seasoning hummus. Y'all, seriously, making your own homemade to any level of flavor you want, there is no comparison between this and the store. You can actually take the ingredients. I'm going to assume you're going to spend about $7. However, just the tahini alone, you can literally get, with only a quarter of a cup, you can get several batches of tahini. And if you can find garbanzo beans on sale, or just get the dried and do it yourself, you can even can them yourself, you're going to save a lot of money. So, and there's nothing better than homemade without all those preservatives. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I will put the recipe in the description box below so that you can have it on hand as well. And I shall be with you in just a brief moment. Hello, my family. I know it has been a bit since I had made my last video. I have been doing a lot of work at straightening up this homestead because I have a lot of new videos that are coming to mind to be putting out here. A lot of it will be doing with the Mediterranean lifestyle. It will be dealing with the versatility of non-diabetic versus diabetic. It will be a combination of both. So we have a lot going on in this homestead, and all based by healthier living. Now, I will say that the hummus that I make is high in carbs. Again, it is the complex carbs. And there are many, I understand, who watch their kilograms very carefully, that are not low carb. I completely understand this. So in any of my videos, please feel free to keep what you like, and you can skip over what you don't. I completely understand. Now, this is one that it can be eaten very moderately, maybe not by all, but I know some of you can. So, and it is a great fiber source, which that is one of the keys in diabetes that we are learning, is fiber is great. So with this, for our supper tonight, we are actually going to have a Mediterranean style shrimp Toscana, and that will be served over spaghetti squash. And I am going to go through that process with you tonight as our pantry meal for the homestead. I did have a person ask me a question, and I will say, being former truck drivers or living on the road, or anybody who travels, it can be kind of tedious as to what you can actually do while you're on the road, whether you're even going on vacation. The options out here in the world is really not that great for any of us with health issues. So what my husband and I had learned on some of the things that we could do, if you're just looking for a snack, some of the good snacks that we chose were taking pieces of salami with cream cheese and a green buncheon onion or spring onion and rolled up. We would have celery and cream cheese. These are just some of the ideas. You could use string cheese if you wanted to, or be creative in those areas. Some pickles and olives. Just make you up like a little snack pack. Other things that we used, and you won't hear this much on most on homesteaders. Us being over the road at one time that led us to where we're at right now, we can completely understand. And I really won't get too much into this topic, but I do want to address the fact that maybe I do have some truck drivers that are on our channel subscribed. Welcome. God bless you. We thank you for everything that you do for us. We have been in your shoes, so we know what you're going through. Seriously, God bless you folks, because it's a bit worse now than it was when we were on the road. We use some items, and if you're able to, some of you have your truck set up now where you can use appliances. One of the best ones, which was used by a cigarette lighter, was what was called it was a little lunch box. And that is an actual little oven you can use. Some of you have microwaves. I am actually going to make the suggestion, if you go on home time, prepare your meals ahead of time for as much as you think that you're going to be out. All right, and do the best you can. Stock your coolers, stock your refrigerators. Prepare your meals at home and make you up your own like TV dinners where all you have to do is reheat and eat. Some of you may be able to cook on your trucks with other appliances like we used to. We used Instapots and stuff. It was, to the point for us, extremely beneficial to make our own meals, and whether we were at home or whether we were on the road. Now, at one point 10 years ago, my husband and I teamed, and I get the teams. That is really hard, y'all. I get that. But eventually I actually stopped teaming with him, and I rode in the truck, and he would do the driving and I would do the cooking for us. It makes for a better scenario that way, and I totally get it. But there are ways you can. Again, please utilize your home time. Prepare your meals ahead of time to the way you would like them, and just reheat them on the truck. And if you don't have accessibility to heat your food on the truck stops have microwave ovens. So prepare your meals when you stop and use their microwaves. They do not mind you doing so. We've had to do that a time or two as well. So there are options for you. You can choose to use like the salad bars, if they still even have those anymore. You can choose better options out there for, like, some places will serve a salad, but I'm going to tell you, for the most part, even in the time that we're living right now, a lot of people don't like to accommodate for health issues. Their menus are set for the way their menu is. You may find one somewhere down the line that will accommodate you. You can make your own sandwiches using lettuce as lettuce wraps or low carb tortillas. Making your own is better, and if you have to, keep some of these products on your truck. If you go somewhere and you just order a certain amount of ingredients that you would like, here's for instance, if you go to Subway, you happen to like the selection of the meats. Honestly, we really don't want to pay for that bread. I totally get that. But if there is an option that you can actually take that bread source and literally, I know, cringe, throw that bread away and use a low carb source that you had on your truck, you can have a ready-made sandwich that's just that easy for you. So be creative in this. Think of ways that would suit you and your needs, and it's not that hard. So these were just some of the areas I would address. Now, those who are just traveling, I mean, again, you can do these ideas. Prepare your meals ahead of time before you travel. Prepare your snacks for you and make your life easier. Preparation is really the key to less stress. So I'm hoping you're going to enjoy this new year, as we have a lot of videos coming out for gardening. We are going to be doing a lot of processing, dehydrating. We're going to be doing one-on-one full-fledged homesteading things on our farm, so that we could teach you basic living of how to do this if you choose to. If you like some of it, you can use what you would like, keep and discard what you don't. If you find that gardening is on a smaller scale than ours, I totally get that. Go with grow pots or things like that. But try. Folks, I'm going to tell you, this year, in my heart of hearts, this year is going to be it's not going to let up, y'all. So the more we can do for ourselves, the better off we will be. And then if you look at the stance of the way produce is nowadays, not a lot of us have the opportunity to get good quality produce. And frankly, within days, when you bring it home, it's deteriorating, even in your refrigerator. Where I'm finding when it's homegrown, it will last longer. So really consider some of these aspects for this year. Sit down with your family. Think about the things that you would like to have. If you have any questions, please ask me. If I know the answer, I will let you know. If I don't, I will definitely let you know, because I'm not one who will play with you. I will be frank and honest. If I know it, I will help you, but not to the point that I know it all. Only based by my experience. I cannot tell you that I know everything, because I have so much more room for me to grow. So, and that is what I'm doing this year. I am making room for me to grow, yet share and teach what I have learned in the last 4 years. I would like to see families survive. I would like to see families succeed, and I would like to see families living with less costs, with more reassurance that their family will be taken care of no matter what our situation we are living in now. I have seen some things that I'm not comfortable with, which may be our future. So it has just made me realize that homesteading was the best place we could have ever been in our entire life. Whether you are a small scale or a large scale, any scale of homesteading or any scale of self-sufficiency that you can do, even if it's a grow pot on your balcony, anything you can do for yourself, and I've brought this up before, is better, honestly, than doing nothing at all. If you have to get from your farmers markets, support your local markets, support your local farmers. I will show you what to do with that when you bring it home. You can store your pantries with far greater, healthier food than what you can get at the grocery store. Things are going to change, folks, and me and my household, we will be ready, and I will teach you how to do the same. So I'm going to let this lay for right now. I will be back to prepare our supper for this evening, and if I can squeeze one in, I am looking to do a blueberry muffins that are low carb and for diabetics. So I'm going to try to place all this in here and get these videos out to you. Until the next video, God bless you. Much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead. We'll see you again.